is the transition on Atlantic Television Network. Most performing River State representatives on the NDDC governing board, Tony Okocha, had a very fruitful and reassuring with projects in River State. The interactive meeting, which held at the conference hall of the River State NDDC office on Oluobasanjo Road in Port Harcourt, River State, witnessed a huge turnout of about 200 contractors handling different NDDC projects in River State. Addressing the contractors, Tony Okocha said that the meeting was called at the instance of the board and management of the NDDC to interact with contractors directly to ascertain their challenges, recommendations, and suggestions. Okocha reassured the contractors that the present NDDC governing board, ably headed by the chairman, Barrister Chiedu Ebie, and the MDCEO, Chief Dr. Samuel Obuku, respectively, is poised to rewrite the history of the commission by ensuring that contractors are given proper and appropriate attention, thereby urging the contractors to return to the sites. He cautioned the contractors against rendering substandard jobs when awarded contracts in River State and warned against the consequences of such acts, as the commission is determined to deal with such contractors. The River State NDDC rep thanked President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for gathering the best of the best in the constitution of the 7th Governing Board of the NDDC and pleaded passionately with the President to remove the commission from the TSA to enable the speedy delivery of projects and prevent project abandonment. Magistrate Court sitting in River State has remanded one Savior Robert in the Port Harcourt Correctional Center for allegedly attempting to murder the leader of Conscience of Ogoni people, Chief Gani Toba, in 2023. Chief Magistrate Sotonye Harry gave the remand order following an expert application contained in a remand warrant by the prosecution. When the matter was called up in the court, the prosecution informed the court about the remand warrant, which he said was in the Section 300 of Supreme Court of the Justice Act. The prosecution informed the court that the case in question is attempted murder, cultism, and other similar offenses as enshrined in the criminal law of the state, especially in the pursuant of Section 320 of the Criminal Code of River State. Administration of Justice. The police prosecutor also informed the court that the application, which is in support of one-page affidavit as deposited by one Inspector Stephen attached to the anti-cultism unit on behalf of the Commissioner of Police River State, became necessary following the fact that other defendants indicted in the same offense are facing trial already in other courts. The Chief Magistrate Sotonye Harry, after listening to the prosecution, did not allow the defense counsel to announce her appearance, but directed that the accused be remanded in prison while the case file be sent to the Department of Public Prosecution for advice and adjourned the case till March 2nd, 2024. River State Police Command says operatives have arrested a notorious cultist allegedly involved in a series of killings and armed robbery within the Diobu axis of Port Harcourt and other parts of the state. The police said that the cultist, identified as Samuel Wokoma, with his gang, was behind the killing of two youths in the Diobu axis of Mile 1 in Port Harcourt during the attacks between March the 14th and 17th, 2024. The spokesperson for the command, Grace Iringe Koko, who disclosed this in a statement in Port Harcourt, said AK-47 and other ammunition were recovered from the cult's hideout in River State. She said the notorious cultist was apprehended following credible intelligence by operatives of the C4I strike force of the command in conjunction with a local vigilante, leading to a raid on the camp of the Blood Star cult gang and the recovery of a cache of arms and ammunition. The PPRO also assured the public that all necessary measures will be taken to ensure the apprehension of all individuals involved in these criminal activities. Socio-political analysts have condemned the approach of the military in Okwama community in the reprisal, which he described as being insensitive and rash to society. While frowning at the occurrence, he expressed condolence to the families of the deceased and the fallen heroes and called on the government and the military to ensure that the culprits face the law. Reacting via Zoom on Atlantic Society Watch, Comrade Boti Isaac said that setting a community ablaze is illegal and unacceptable way of conflict resolution by the military.
The issue is this. Let's first of all say that the military approach may not be the correct approach. There's many ways, several ways of resolving conflicts. And setting a community ablaze or destroying an entire community because of the crimes of few persons is not the best way to go. And I know that, of course, the military is intelligent, they know what to do, they know the best approach to go about addressing this challenge or curtailing the crisis. But most of the times, we've forgotten that these guys are also humans. The fact that some persons, some 17 military guys were killed in a most gruesome manner is disheartening, and that causes any right-thinking person who acts even in a very actual way. We shouldn't forget that they are humans. Those that were killed have brothers, have sisters, have wives, have children. They have colleagues who picked up their corpse and saw how gruesomely they were murdered. And we think the human in them will be thinking of, oh, let's just talk to them, let's just pamper them. No, remember, these guys are trained to kill. So in that situation, you cannot rule out the fact that such a scenario could play out. Why that is not the best approach, why that is not encouraged, we cannot rule out that they are humans, they are feelings.
Meanwhile, Boti Isaac has tasked community heads, residents and indigents to ensure they collaborate with the military in exposing illegal activities and crime in their respective communities.
And secondly, the communities are crying out now. I have argued with a friend and I was like, see, if you want peace in your community, you all collectively work to achieve it. You all work to remove any trace of social vice, any social vices in your community. So it's a collective responsibility of the community leaders, community youth, everybody in that community to work together to make sure that this kind of occurrence doesn't happen. The military did not just walk into the communities and start killing them. We should know that. They acted first in a very unruly, disheartening manner. And killing of serving officers is the least expected of any community. These are people who are there to protect you, to protect your life and property. And the only way you can appreciate their effort is to gracefully murder them. I think it's a fall short of what should happen in our society.
The Nigerian army said it has arrested about 20 suspects in the Okwama community in the Ughelli South local government area of Delta State, where military personnel were killed and denied any form of reprisal on the community. This is coming after the defense headquarters had released the names of the army personnel who were killed on Thursday during a peace mission to Okwama, stressing that no amount of propaganda would stop culprits from being nabbed, while the defense headquarters had vowed that there would be injurious consequences. Many residents of Okwama in the Ughelli South local government area and Okoloba in the Bomadi local government area of Delta State fled the communities as soldiers took over the area and reportedly set some houses ablaze in reaction to the killing of 16 soldiers, including senior officers, while the bodies of the soldiers were recovered by the soldiers of the Joint Task Force under the supervision of the General Officer Commanding 8th Division, Nigerian Army, Major General Jamal Abdul Salam, at the Okwama community. A statement by the Director of Army Public Relations, Major General Onyema Nwachukwu, the Army said that rather than help to provide assistance to arrest the perpetrators of the crime, the community was dishing out propaganda that the killing of troops was a communally orchestrated attack against the legitimate forces. The Army spokesperson noted that the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Labaja, has directed that all culprits must be brought to book. 2 persons have been confirmed dead in the process of mining for a precious stone called tourmaline. The incident happened at the Shikpeshe along Buya Road in Obanliku local government area of Cross River State 2 days ago. The boys were said to have suffocated to death inside a deep mining well. 3 surviving victims who were seriously injured are receiving treatment in a nearby health facility. Findings show that some explorers reportedly discovered the tourmaline and engaged the local youths to exploit it for them. According to the locals, the boys have spent over 4 months digging the well, which has gone very deep. Reacting, Governor Basi Otu prayed for the repose of the soul of the deceased, even as he admonished youths against unwarranted and dangerous ventures capable of threatening their lives. Speaking through the Commissioner for Mineral Resources, Effiong Ekaha Otu described the incidents as unfortunate and colossal loss to the state and the family. He promised a comprehensive investigation into the incidents as well as determining the legality of the mining activity. Edo State House of Assembly has passed a resolution directing the Chief Judge of the state, Justice Daniel Okumboa, to set up a 7-man committee to investigate the allegations of gross misconduct leveled against the Deputy Governor, Philip Shaibu. At the plenary, 19 members out of the 24 members voted in favor of the resolution. The House of Assembly commenced impeachment proceedings against Shaibu on March the 5th, accusing him of perjury and leaking of government secrets. However, all efforts to get the impeachment notice to him proved abortive, and the impeachment move is believed to be the latest development in the rift between Shaibu and his principal, Governor Godwin Obaseki. Earlier, the Speaker of the House, Blessing Agbebaku, had notified his colleagues that the 7-day ultimatum granted the Deputy Governor to respond to the impeachment notice served on him has expired. Said that the impeachment notice was earlier served on the Deputy Governor on March the 6th, 2024, but due to alleged invasion of service, the House ordered substituted service. In his motion, the majority leader of the House, Charity Aigobaregan, and seconded by Nicholas Asonsera, representing Ipoba Oha constituency, moved that the Chief Judge be directed to set up a 7-man committee to investigate the petition against the Deputy Governor, stressing that the motion was in line with Section 188, subsections 4, 3, and 4 of the Constitution. Abia State Governor Alex Oti said that the state government is demanding to secure loans to implement the 2024 budget, adding that already the Islamic Development Bank has approved $125 million for the state. Oti, who disclosed this in Umuahia, the state capital, said that the African Development Bank has also approved some funds for the state. On infrastructure, the governor said Abia State will continue with massive road rehabilitation in the health system and the resolve to retrieve educational system that has been going down, adding that all schools will be fully rehabilitated and trained teachers will teach students what is relevant in the 21st century, including the internet, renewable energy, and digital technology, amongst others, to make Abia students competitive in line with global practices. However, the state government said that it would ensure the quality and skills necessary to teach the students by ensuring that the right training for the teachers. The Lagos State Police Command has detained one Umaru Abdul before Magistrate Patrick Maka of the Yaba Chief Magistrate Court for pretending to be a military personnel. The defendant was arraigned on 3 counts of conspiracy to impersonate, forgery of an official identification card, and impersonation by pretending to be a military personnel. This is coming after on January 11, 2024, Abdul pretended to be a member of the Nigerian Army by unlawfully wearing a Nigerian Army camouflage uniform and was found with an identity card bearing the distinctive emblem of the Nigerian Army. The prosecutor, DSP Thomas Nuruddin, informed the court that the defendant committed the alleged offenses on January 11, 2024, adding that the alleged offenses contravene sections 411, 79(1), subsection 1A and B, and 78, subsection A and B of the Criminal Law of Lagos State 2015. The defendant's uniform and fake identification card were admitted into evidence while pleading guilty to the charges leveling against him. Magistrate Mwaka ordered that the defendant be remanded in police custody until April 17, 2024 for sentencing. The National Union of Road Transport Workers and the Ogun State Parks and Garages Management Board have clashed over revenue collection. Some of the affected motor parks where fracas were reported are Kuta, Lafenwa, Brewery, the Oshin, Ita Oshin, Oban Loco, amongst others, while the union members also inflicted machete wounds. This is coming after the state government has created Ogun State Parks and Garages Management Board, where the NURTW activities were suspended in the state in 2021, and popular leader of the union, Akim Abodurin, known as Iyeru, was made the chairman to undertake the government sales of union tickets in the absence of the NURTW. But in October 2023, the ban was lifted and NURTW was brought back under the leadership of Ismail Adewale, popularly called Yaro, while the Commissioner for Transportation, Engineer Benga Dairo, directed both NURTW and OGSPAM to rotate the sales of the government tickets with the view to fostering peace among the unions. By this arrangement, RTAN will sell tickets for 2 weeks, while NURTW and Ogun State Parks and Garages Management Board will sell tickets for 1 week respectively. Niger State government has stopped the activities of illegal mining sites as part of efforts to protect communities from harmful effects of such activities. The Commissioner for Mineral Resources, Alhaji Garba Sabo Yahaya, said that the clampdown was in response to numerous complaints from communities regarding the negative impact of mining on their health and livelihoods. The crackdown targeted several popular mining sites, including those in Maiwayo, Kaleregi, and Gadaregi along the Mina Bida Road, while communities in this area have reported serious environmental hazards and health risks associated with mining activities, while expressing the importance of responsible mining practices to safeguard both the environment and the health of the people. Niger State Governor Umar Bago has partnered with a delegation from China Railway Corporation in Mina, the state capital. The special advisor to the governor on digital communications, Abdul Baki Ebo, who disclosed this in a statement posted on his X handle, said that they discussed working out a partnership to establish a railway network that will span the state's 3 geopolitical zones as well as Abuja. He also said that the ambitious project is anticipated to be funded through the China Exim Bank which marked a significant step towards improving transportation, infrastructure, and economic growth in Niger State, while the Chinese government has expressed its commitment to refinance and complete the Abuja, Kanu, and Port Harcourt Maiduguri railway projects. The Ilorin Command of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has convicted six persons charged with offenses bordering on cybercrime and fraud-related activities. The convicts who were prosecuted on separate charges to trial before the Justice Evelyn Anyadike of the Federal High Court, Ilorin, and Justice Adebayo Yusuf of the Kwara State High Court, also asked in Ilorin. A statement signed by the head of media and publicity of the EFCC, Dele Oyewale, in Ilorin, said that their conviction brings to 24 of the 50 suspects comprising 48 students of the Kwara State University and 2 students of the Malete, 2 residents of Malete arrested during a sting operation by operatives of the Ilorin Zonal Command of the EFCC over offenses bordering on internet fraud, also known as Yahoo Yahoo. The defendants, who were arraigned on separate charges, pleaded guilty to their different charges when they were read to them, and the justices, having considered the facts placed before the courts and admittance of guilt by the defendants, found them guilty and accordingly sentenced them to various jail terms. The court also ordered that the phones and laptops used as instrumentality of the crime by the convicts and the money brought in by them as restitution be forfeited to the federal government. Adamawa State Police Command has arrested 58 suspected criminals after a raid across different locations in the state. State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Darikombo Morris, who disclosed this in Yola, the state capital, said that the suspects include 40 young men who were members of a notorious group called Sheila Boys. He also said that a Toyota Prado Jeep and other items were recovered from the suspects. Please stay with us.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring honest pop news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing. You human trafficker.
Honorable they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
back to Atlantic Television Network Transition, and now to the rest of our stories. The senators called on the federal government to apprehend the perpetrators of the horrific killings of the military personnel in Okuama community in Delta State on March the 14th, 2024, and bring them to book. This is coming after last Thursday, some senior army officers and their men who were on a peace mission to the troubled area were reportedly ambushed and killed by armed youths. Our correspondent
Tuesday called on the federal government to apprehend the perpetrators of the horrific killings of military personnel in Okuama community in Delta State on March the 14th this year and bring them to book. The upper chamber equally called for recruitment of more policemen for adequate internal security and safety.
Okuama community in Delta State underscores the urgent need for justice and accountability without resorting to retribution. Worried that the understaffing of the Nigerian police has made Nigeria's military to take over internal policing duties such as organized crime, oil theft, communal crisis, kidnapping, banditry.
A brief debate on two motions by senators in the region.
Mr. President, Nigeria, this is crunch time for our country, and we must always ensure that whatever thing that we're doing, we must be tolerant with one another. A situation where this number of soldiers will be killed in one swap is highly regrettable. Very sensitive issue, Mr. President. It is very sensitive, and we must handle it in the manner that it will not escalate. You will recall the incidents of OD in the past. We don't want such occurrence in our system, in our country at this point in time, because the entire country is heated up. Anything that will make it to heat up more, we should not allow that to happen.
It's not every day, even in a war situation, it's not every day a country suffers this kind of loss, even in a war, even during war times. All in all, it's a terrible development, a very sad day for our country and our country's military. A lieutenant colonel, 2 majors, and others died in one fell swoop. It's a very sad loss, and we commiserate, and it's appropriate for us to commiserate with them and direct an inquiry.
The Senate President, after the conclusion on the debate on the tragic incident in Delta State, advised the Nigerian military to conduct a thorough investigation to ascertain those involved in the death of the Nigerian soldiers. Rusimi Adewi, ATN News, Abuja.
The House of Representatives has appealed to the Nigerian military to tamper justice with mercy on the people of Okuama and Okoloba communities in Ughelli South and Bomade local government areas of Delta State respectively. The House also called on the National Emergency Management Agency to provide relief materials to both communities involved to promote peace among them. The resolution followed the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance raised during the plenary by Honorable Babajimi Benson, member representing Ikorodu Federal Constituency, Lagos State. Presenting the motion, Honorable Benson said that the military personnel were only responding to a distress call in their service to the fatherland when they were ambushed and killed on Thursday.
The House is aware that these military personnel were only responding to a distress call in their service to their fatherland when they were ambushed and killed on the fateful day. The House is distressed that the perpetrators of the heinous act did not only stop at killing this military personnel, but also sacrilegiously debased their remains by ripping out their hearts and other body parts. The House is worried act is checked and stopped. Acts like this by the very people the Nigerian armed forces are meant to protect have the potential of demoralizing the military and affecting the war on insecurity and insurgency.
By Francis' wife, representing Ughelli Federal Constituency of Delta State, and was adopted by the House.
Speaker, I join the mover of the motion to condemn in the most strongest term the killing of our military personnel. It's something that should not be tolerated anywhere, and the perpetrators must be brought to book. I agree with the prayers that the event, the sad occurrence, to be investigated, except that I request that the House Committee on Defense lead that process. The House Committee on Defense show community. The community has been raised down, and people are dying out of hunger, and the ones that were seen had been killed. There's a need for intervention on humanitarian grounds. While the culprits are being investigation will bring out the real perpetrators of this sad occurrence, innocent civilians, innocent law-abiding citizens of this country who happen to...
A minute of silence for the deceased military personnel was observed by the House. Recall that on Thursday, 14th March 2024, Code of Conduct for Political Parties, stressing that when leaders of political parties and political office holders live up to expectations, Nigerians will have a breath of fresh air in governance.
IPAC will set up a constitution and electoral act amendment committee to review glaring irregularities in recent elections and make proposals to the National Assemblies in its ongoing constitution and electoral act amendments. In this regard, IPAC will be proactive to ensure that the Edo and Ondo state gubernatorial elections meet the expectations of Nigerians and international community. So there should be no excuse for poor performance. IPAC will constantly engage INEC as usual and major stakeholders to ensure the success of the elections, and will be there for mobilization and voter sensitization monitoring of the polls as usual. IPAC commends the leadership of INEC for the performance so far, and so much still needs to be done to improve the nation's electoral process that will drastically reduce post-election petitions and litigation, just as Council will engage leaders of political parties on strict adherence to internal party democracy, in the nomination of candidates for various elective offices, which will in turn reduce pre-election litigation.
A political analyst, Comrade Churchill Wale, has suggested that Nigeria is better with the practice of representative system of governance, where public office holders without sustainable footprints from the grassroots will not be deemed fit to occupy higher positions in the public service. For those who have not had any leadership experience from the local governments, and the political analyst asks the federal government to refrain from appointing such individuals into high-ranking political situations, as it is liable of truncating the hopes and expectations of citizens through inexperienced approach to national issues. He spoke on Atlantic Television Network's Open Conversation.
This leadership aspect, in legislative aspects, it has to do with experience. The person talking has never led before as a representative. He's talking based on the party nominated him as a national publicity secretary. They should be thinking about how to build their party, because as it stands now, their party needs more representatives, not coming to loud voice for the ones that you've tried to get. The ones they have gotten, how many? They don't have much members in the chambers. They don't. So, but I'm not saying that the publicity secretary is completely wrong, calling them to order. But what I'm saying is that it should be something that you would have called them to the party secretariat and address this issue. It shouldn't be an issue because they are not yet a party that, apart from them contesting with the better candidate.
Wale also urged the Labour Party leaders to focus more on the party's stability.
shouldn't be blown out, just like the last issue they were having concerning fund. Shouldn't be blown out. It should be within them. They handle it and make sure that nobody hears about it. So the country people want to support them again when it comes to the next 2027 election. But as it stands now, if people are hearing, they will say they are not.
It could be recalled that the Labour Party recently warned federal lawmakers, especially members of the House of Representatives elected on its platform, to respect the party's supremacy or face disciplinary action. Chieftain of the Apex Igbo Sociocultural Organization, Ohaneze Ndibo, Okechukwu Isiguzoro, is urging the presidential candidates of the Labour Party and the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, as well as the New Nigerian People's Party, Rabiu Kwakwanso, to assist President Bola Tinubu in tackling the economic and security crisis bedeviling Nigeria. The factional Secretary General, Okechukwu Isiguzoro, who disclosed this in a statement he signed, said that Ohaneze plans to honor President Tinubu as a mark of solidarity and support for his leadership. Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule has urged Peter Obi to, stressing that politics was over and it was time to join Tinubu in moving Nigeria forward. National Productivity Center Abuja is mandated with the responsibility of training public civil servants for good service delivery